Welcome to my 1000 Topic English channel. Today, we'll be learning an English story to enhance our listening and writing skills. Subscribe now and join us as we explore amazing English words, vocabulary, and grammar to help you grow and succeed. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below and let us know what you'd love to see next. The village of Greenhollow was a picturesque place, nestled between rolling green hills and a dense, shadowy forest. It was a small community, where everyone knew each other by name, and life moved at a gentle, predictable pace. The villagers relied on their sheep for wool, milk, and meat, and the flock was the lifeblood of the village. Watching over the sheep was a responsibility entrusted to Liam, a young shepherd boy with a mop of unruly brown hair and a restless spirit. Liam was 12 years old, an age when the world seemed both too big and too small. He longed for adventure, for something to break the monotony of his daily routine. Every morning, he would wake before dawn, grab his shepherd's crook, and lead the flock to the pasture. There, he would spend hours sitting on a large, flat rock, watching the sheep graze and nap under the sun. The other children in the village were busy helping their families with chores or playing games, but Liam was alone, with only the sheep for company. The sheep were docile creatures, content to munch on grass and wander aimlessly. They didn't provide much excitement, and Liam often found himself daydreaming. He imagined himself as a brave knight, slaying dragons and rescuing princesses, or as an explorer, discovering hidden treasures in the forest. But reality always brought him back to the pasture, where the most exciting thing that ever happened was a sheep straying too close to the tree line. Liam's father, a kind but stern man named John, had been the village shepherd before him. He had taught Liam everything he knew about caring for the flock, how to guide the sheep with his crook, how to spot signs of illness, and how to protect them from predators. "The sheep are our livelihood," John had said. "Without them, we have nothing. You must take this responsibility seriously." But Liam struggled to find meaning in his work. He felt invisible, forgotten by the rest of the village. No one ever thanked him for keeping the sheep safe, and no one seemed to notice how lonely he was. The days blurred together, each one as uneventful as the last. Chapter 2: The First Trick. One sunny afternoon, as Liam sat under the shade of an old oak tree, an idea struck him. What if he could make the villagers come running? It would be a harmless prank, he thought, and it might make his day a little more interesting. The idea took root in his mind, growing more tempting with each passing minute. With a mischievous grin, Liam jumped to his feet and ran toward the village, shouting at the top of his lungs, "Wolf! Wolf! A wolf is attacking the sheep!" The villagers, hearing his cries, dropped everything. Farmers left their plows, women abandoned their washing, and even the elderly grabbed their walking sticks and hurried toward the pasture. When they arrived, breathless and worried, they found Liam laughing uncontrollably. "There's no wolf," he said between giggles. "I was just playing." The villagers were not amused. "Liam, this is no joking matter," said Thomas, the village elder. His voice was stern, and his eyes bore into Liam's. "If a wolf really does come, we need to be able to trust your word. Do you understand?" Liam shrugged off their scolding, still chuckling to himself. He didn't see the harm in a little fun. The villagers returned to their work, muttering under their breath about the boy's foolishness. But Liam felt a thrill he hadn't experienced in months. For the first time in a long while, he didn't feel invisible. Chapter 3: The Second Trick. A few days later, boredom struck again. The sheep were grazing peacefully, and the sun was warm on Liam's face. He glanced toward the village, wondering if anyone would fall for his trick a second time. "Why not?" he thought. "It's just a bit of fun." Once again, he ran toward the village, his voice filled with panic. "Wolf! Wolf! Please, help! The wolf is back." The villagers, though hesitant, couldn't ignore the possibility of danger. They rushed to the pasture, only to find Liam doubled over with laughter. "You should have seen your faces," he exclaimed. This time, the villagers were furious. "Liam, this is the last time we'll tolerate your lies," said Sarah, the village baker. Her hands were covered in flour, and her face was red with anger. "If you cry wolf again, we won't come. Do you understand?" Liam nodded, but deep down, he didn't take their warnings seriously. To him, it was all just a game. He didn't understand the weight of their words or the trust he was squandering. The villagers returned to their homes, their frustration evident in their stiff movements and muttered complaints. Chapter 4: The Real Wolf. Weeks passed, and Liam's pranks became a distant memory. The villagers went about their daily lives, and Liam returned to his routine of watching the sheep. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned shades of orange and pink, Liam noticed something unusual. The sheep, usually calm and docile, were restless. They huddled together, their eyes wide with fear. Liam's heart raced as he scanned the pasture. Then he saw it, a pair of glowing eyes in the shadows of the forest. A wolf, larger and fiercer than any he had imagined, emerged from the trees. Its fur was gray and matted, and its teeth gleamed in the fading light. The wolf lunged at the flock, scattering the sheep in all directions. Terrified, Liam ran toward the village, his voice trembling. "Wolf! Wolf! Please, help! A wolf is really here!" But this time, the villagers didn't come. They heard his cries, but they shook their heads. "Not again," muttered Thomas. "He's just playing another trick." Liam's heart sank as he realized no one was coming to help. He tried to fend off the wolf himself, throwing rocks and shouting, but it was no use. The wolf chased the sheep into the forest, and by the time Liam returned to the village, the flock was gone. Chapter 5: The Aftermath. The next morning, the villagers gathered in the square, their faces grim. Liam stood before them, his head bowed in shame. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I didn't mean for this to happen." Thomas stepped forward, his voice heavy with disappointment. "Liam, we warned you about the dangers of lying. Now, because of your actions, we've lost our flock. Trust is not easily regained once it's broken." The villagers murmured in agreement, their eyes filled with anger and sadness. Liam felt the weight of their stares, and for the first time, he truly understood the consequences of his actions. He had not only lost the trust of the villagers but also endangered their livelihoods. Chapter 6: Redemption. Over time, Liam worked hard to regain the villagers' trust. He took on extra chores, helped rebuild the flock, and proved himself to be honest and reliable. Though it took years, the villagers eventually forgave him, and Liam became a respected member of the community. The story of the boy who cried wolf spread far and wide, serving as a cautionary tale for generations to come. It reminded people of the importance of honesty and the consequences of deceit. And for Liam, it was a lesson he would never forget.